Yes, it is. Well, wait, what? What? I'm having a Biden moment. It is a Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. This is Studio A. My cat is looking at me strangely. Planet Collingwood, ladies and gentlemen, our orbit has returned. Unlike Nibiru, we actually know when we're turning up. My name is Monty Dean. You're awesome. Big thank you to Tony, Why Not, the Y-Files and crew, getting a bit jokey there at the end, which is good because, you got to laugh. It's very Australian, like in the face of adversity, laugh. Unless you've upset them and, you're hitting on their girlfriend and then moving on. If you liked the last 2 hours with the Y-Files, Tony, Why Not? It's a very long title, but it can fit on a T-shirt. Go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can because we're 100% listener supported, 100% volunteer. We're just 100% because I can't think of a tagline for that. And once you're there, go to the merchandise, buy some T-shirts, click on the Patreon, see what you can help out. We do have 2 studios, but not right now. Studio B is not on at all. Please don't turn over. And buy some merchandise, caps and T-shirts and mouse pads, and I believe there's onesies for the little ones. So a shekel here, a dinar there, a Federal Reserve promissory note, anything basically that we can use to pay the bills and continue broadcasting in our 11th year. I think that's how that works because we started on the 1st of, just got Jer Bear in my head now because both of us are still trying to figure out how time works and calendars. Yeah. Well, I strained my spaghetti with a calendar and just went everywhere. Anyway, I'm not sure if there is thongs. There's once you're there, I was just reading from the chat and hang out with the chat because they're awesome. Now, excuse me while I try and figure out how this works again because Skype was working perfectly fine, so they've updated it because it's, no, that's not the right one. I'll invite. Ooh, I wonder if that's the right one. No, I don't want to invite. I want to add. Why can't I add? I hate you. I hate you so much now. All right. Anyway, I've been joined by Cortek, and so he'll be able to distract you while I try and figure out all this newfangled crapola. Cortek, are you there?
G'day, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, just a tad quiet there.
Tad quiet. What about now?
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah.
Been fiddling with stuff. Maybe invites the new ad.
No, it's not. It just says, add Skype contacts. Oh, look at me. I've got freaking stupid. I've got a list now. Blah blah blah. And of course, he doesn't spell it with an O. He spells it with a 0. Not that he is a 0. Oh, good times. Now we did have a request from Lee Chat, or is it La Chat? I'm not very big at French. Bring something positive. Okay. I watched an awesome Roundeth table. See, now did it work? You swine. All right. So, I believe it did. Hang on. So if I do. No. Okay. Yeah, it worked. All right. We'll get to that.
Officially, it is week 88.
88. Oh, that's very lucky in the Chinese. And the numbers to fat ladies, yes, but apparently that's not politically correct anymore. To fat ladies, yes.
Just say it. There's nothing better.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, but they're beautiful, brave, healthy fat ladies. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's see. Doing two. I'm male. I can only tunnel vision. I can't. Right. In New South Wales, have you heard of that Cortek, New South Wales?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, okay, cool. The Chief Health Medical Officer, I believe, Hazard, which is like slightly ironic having a name as Hazard.
I think that's just a straight up clone, then,
Yeah.
It's the same guy as the Duncan Gay, who was protesting gay rights. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. This stuff's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. That guy from Sean Penn played Milk. It's like interesting last name. Anyway, he decided to he put forward into the parliament, or had an idea, and said, I think we should extend the state of emergency to March or October 2023. And everyone started flipping out. There was tables thrown. Yeah, everyone went a bit Jesus on the Sunday before, went into the temple. Yeah. And then the premier, I can't say his last name. It sounds like a wine. What's the Pinot? What's the name of your premier right now?
I've been paying attention.
Well, it's not Gladys.
No, Glad Wrap barbecue chicken.
Yeah, that's right. Not her. The new one. It's
a guy, isn't it?
Yes, he's a Catholic and he's got his 7th child on the way, and it's like, wow, he can maintain a job in politics and get it on. Anyway, he basically 4 minutes after Hazard said, I'm doing this, and he's gone, no, you're not. And so he quashed that. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's a bit positive. Yeah. So now here in Victoria, we'll get to that. But the other bit of good news, if you've got a spare 2.5 hours, go to the YouTubes and go to Tim Cast in real life, or IRL, and because he's bought a motorhome and outfitted it as a mobile studio, and he's in Austin at this point in time. And he had Luke Radowski, Ian and Lydia were there, the normal crew. And he also had, I've forgotten his name. I do apologize. He was actually a witness in the Rittenhouse trial, because he filmed everything. He was like, he was a film witness, and so he basically he didn't shoot any black people. Anyway, he was there, as well as Blair White, Alex Jones, and Joe Rogan.
I can see that there, yeah.
Yeah.
The rise of the independent journalists who really want to actually do a good job at this stuff and get respected because of that,
What, you mean actual journalism?
Like Ruskan,
Yeah, it's someone, Wushkan. Anyway, or, yeah, that guy. Yeah, geez, don't. Right, I'll bring in my, see, there's one Victorian, there's a New South Welshman. So I'll bring in another Victorian. He's from the city of Whitehouse. I think I can say that. Why? No, not White House. Bloody
White
code.
Horse.
White Horse. Yeah. I know where you live, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Pones. Pony Pones, the pone. He's got a small cough. He's a little horse. Anyway, how are you?
Jeez. Cough.
Yeah, it's not the Rona. It's his pencil holder.
Oh, shrivel me timber.
Hey, there you go. That's why people log on and listen to Planet Collingwood for the scintillating banter. Yeah, you going? I'm all right. Yeah, good. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I realise too. I do have listeners. Let's be fair, because the views. I mean, the chat hasn't collapsed yet, and I get views on YouTube. So people do listen. Hello, everyone. For those who have donated, thank you. I figured out. Oh, that's your name. Oh, that's you. But I won't grandstand. I'll talk to you later. So yeah, thank you for food. Let's be honest. And I'm so small. I'm sort of. Yeah, I'm like the Beatles in the cabin in the cabin club. Like
those limos out front don't pay for themselves either.
I know, darling. I know. So one needs. Yeah, I mean, it's an audio medium, but one needs to put on a show. Been watching a lot of The Crown, so if I slip into British historically, now what's that A word? Oh, never mind, peasant. Moving on. I'm small and quiet, so if they take me out, it's like, well, you're in trouble now. So I'm not like the level, 10,000, like Blair White was saying. I remember when I had only had 10,000 subscribers, and I'm at 30. Like, wow. Mind you,
it says 1.14 million. What's Real Rushgun at? Real subscribers. Like, what is the average of these independent, journalists?
Well, it depends on what platform.
I'd take him for. I suppose.
Because a lot of people, I don't think
YouTube's not the main one anymore, is it?
No, he does Facebook. He gets a lot of on Facebook, but I mean I nearly said fake tradies because I've been reading a lot of Twitter. When you had those 3-4 days of the tradie protests, he at one point he was getting up to 100,000 live views, but he averaged out about 50 or 60,000, and that was global as well because a lot of people wanted to have a look, like see what shenanigans are playing out in Melbourne, and he basically proved the media was lying, as they do.
Real Rush Gun only has 35.1k subscribers versus the 1.14 million Timcast has.
Yeah, but Tim's been doing it for a long time. He's like nearly up to a decade.
Yeah, right.
He was one of the first to do the YouTube content stuff, like the partners back in 2008.
It's been going for a while anyway.
Yeah, so he's nearly 4.4 or something. So, I mean, I've been focusing on Planet Collingwood and spreading the word of the planet for just 2 years in a month. And I'm happy with what I'm going. So it's like, wait, people make money out of this? It's like, yeah, I need to figure that out. So I've started a Patreon page, and that's all I've done. So don't go to it. However,
what artists using Patreon?
I'm have to find somewhere to live. So that's kind of on the front burner. He's finding somewhere to live.
How is that all going?
Oh yeah, it's all right. It's as I think said last week. So I also do 3 other shows, and so my memory goes, "Oh, you've said that. Yeah, but what show? I can't do anything for you. Damn it." But I'm not saying that I'm from a Jewish perspective or a African American or slave perspective, but there is medical segregation already. It's like you have to inspect a house. You actually have to show that you're vaccinated.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or if you're not vaccinated or refuse to share, you have to do a private inspection or something weird. Anyway, one real estate agent was judging me, so I didn't apply for that place.
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? This is just the stupidest pharmaceutical apartheid. We're just in this limbo land of nothingness where, we're still in that all-night meeting where people are trying to come up with ideas and they got nothing. Sun's coming up and nothing's happening.
No, there is segregation, medical apartheid. Queensland's going hardcore. New South Wales have kicked the can down the road. Here in Victoria, there's the pandemic bill where there are still people on the not that many people, because apparently Daniel Andrews got the police to hose the steps and put up barricades because there's a small group of people that are threatening me. And like, really, Mr. Andrews, after 18 months of hardcore pandemic lockdowns, and with the longest stretch of lockdown I like it, jurisdictions, like that's a new word. I'm getting very corporate. So
I didn't know he was so hunchback.
Yeah. If I could find
that picture where he's laying down that wreath or whatever, and you could see just like the not hunchback.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and he's got the head of a minty, where it's the ears, where Prince Charles was like, my God, man, look at his ears. So there you go. However, if I can find it, once the conversation goes and I can find the Twitter, someone shared Premier Andrew in question time today in the lower house of Victoria. I've been watching a lot of because the bill's actually being debated now in the Senate or the upper house, and so the Victorian Parliament does live stream, and I'm watching this boring crap show so you don't, because it's like it's like, wow, waffle, just vote for the love of God, but everyone has to have a go and have a chat. And,
Thanks.
Apparently
that sounds terrible. I would not really want. I don't have patience.
No, you don't. It's like, I can see why people get the sense of power, but they act like they're in primary school or elementary school because we're on an American station. Let's be fair.
I reckon we just go.
I translate from. Yeah, I translate from I translate from English into from Australian into American. It's still English. Sorry, go ahead. I know you're
No.
interrupting me, but
No.
I'm at the end of my sentence, so you can go now.
I was just on a weird bend that I'm all for like a dictatorship 2.0, but then you get to vote in a blockchain sense for those things. The person who is employed in the position of power, like a figurehead, we have now has to come with the best ideas, and a time tracking way to get those done in the time that they're employed in that position. But so basically, they get the dictatorship over the whole lot and get to try and realize their vision. But the vision has to be voted on in the first place. I mean, surely by this stage we can come up with 6,000 different models than what we have been stuck with.
But the thing is that, like, as the Premier of Victoria, he knows his what is it, the NPL, the linguistic patterns. Where you basically it's a form of hypnotism. The language, like NLP or whatever it is.
Yeah, NLP, yeah.
Yeah, and they say the right words, and it's like, I want everyone to be
he doesn't write
safe.
his own speeches.
Of course not. No, but he's still a psychopath. Because in question time, he was excuse me. A little bit of sick. I'm talking about Daniel Andrews, and my body's going, well, screw you. Here, have some bile in your mouth.
There's probably some algorithm they run it through just to make it more, Anyway, go on.
Yeah, probably not. But
so, give me
we'll
ideas.
get to that later. The leader of the opposition, Matthew Guy, that's with 2 T's. Apparently that means something. Yeah, I just skim Twitter and just, whatever floats, turns up on my radar, and it's like, oh. And that's how I found out Tim Pool was doing that massive show, because Luke Rudkowski showed a photo, because he sat next to Joe Rogan. I'm like, I'm going to put all my plans on hold for the day and watch this. Anyway,
I want to get back to why 2 T's in Matthew means anything different.
Well, so it's gone past now. It's gone through to the keeper. The keeper missed it, and it's gone for four overruns. There you go. So we're playing well. Cricketing references. That's how you want to lose American audiences. What the hell's a wicket?
Special AFL references.
Oh no, you'll lose me because I can't be asked remembering. Oh, except if we go up the wing. What am I talking about this? Right, now, Matthew Guy, leader of the opposition. I also should point out, for our American friends, we have the Westminster system, where it's different from your one. That's the short version. It's different. So they ask a question, because they have Mr. Speaker, or the Speaker, who controls attempts to control the Parliament of Victoria. And because of COVID, there's all the, that plastic sneeze guard stuff that you have.
Do they have sneeze guard? Do they have salad bar sneeze guards up between each?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, it's like, the spittle won't go far if you get angry. But the question is, in the pandemic bill, I've got to remember the right word, because I started this idea about 5 minutes ago. Penalties for breaching certain laws or grievances, whatever, in the pandemic bill. And they were thinking up to $100,000 fines. And someone's gone, a bit much, you sick psycho. Anyway, the Ombudsman, the Human Rights Committee, 60 QCs, that's Queen Counsels, that's high-end judges. And one of the senators here in Victoria said 60. Do you know how hard it is to get 60 QCs to do anything?
It's true.
60.
That's a big number.
Yeah, I know. It's like 60. Yeah, 60 lawyers going, I agree. I mean, I'm glad I'm sitting down now. And so, can you please refer to the penalties and talk about that? Short version, because it's been going on way too long. After 2 minutes of back and forth, Andrew still didn't answer the question. He was basically just trying to pick a fight in a pub. Where, because a little bit of background, a former member of the ministry on the opposition, I think, is it Tim Smith? Not the comedian, the other guy. Anyway, he got caught drink driving. It's like, not a good idea when you're a member of parliament. But Andrews just was like, all the opposition leaders' drinking mates. And I think 4 times Mr. Guy stood up. That's his actual name, by the way. It's not code. His last name is Guy. It's the Prime creator writes the weirdest jokes. Anyway, he got up at least 4 or 5 times and said, "Can you please actually refer your answer to the question?" But it was just basically just like, why would I have it? And he was just throwing shade, as the kids would say, just throwing mud all around the room. A great quote from the great cricketer Don Bradman. In a letter to Greg Chappell, he said, "Those who throw mud lose ground," and I liked that so much I remembered it.
Muddy, it's ground, works together.
Yeah, exactly. See, you throw mud, lose ground. It's like, and if you're in the middle of a sea, anyway. But yeah, he's hunchback and his ears were flapping in the wind type thing, and he didn't answer the question. He just mouthful of abuse. And that's just one example of the type of leader. For the last 20 months, type of person that does not acknowledge their mistakes, blames everybody else.
How is he not out on the street, or how hasn't he taken it to heart personally and done what Glad Wrap Barbecue Chicken did?
Well, he was apparently he has been implicated in corruption, and he said, "No, I still have it." Like Glad Wrap actually going, "I should go now," because she knows she's stuffed.
Yeah, and everyone was throwing, banana peels at her.
Yeah, it's like, "Lady, you're in trouble now."
With their eyes.
Yeah, stabbings with the eyes, yeah. But he's such power hungry, and it's inflammatory language, and it's a bit sensational, a bit of hyperboil, other words that I think should be used right now. And but no, he is just the glee, and like he's
power tripping.
Yeah, Napoleon's like, seriously, you need to calm down. I didn't have the hunchback. I'm taller than you. He's a total power trip, and he's and because of the way there are people out there there's a hashtag I stand with Dan, because they believe that Daniel Andrews has done the best for Victoria, even though we've gone into lockdown 6 times. It's the longest city. The longest lockdown for a city in the world.
Who is this group? Headed by Dan Andrews?
The general public. Yeah. Are you on Twitter at all? Do you venture onto that battlefield once you put your armor on there, it's a bit of a cack, which is translations for it's a good laugh. If the trick is, it's like, oh, hang on, the energies are really pissing me off. I'm going to put that down now. Put my phone down and walk away. Just you don't go for Twitter battles, but comedy ensues.
I've seen a hilarious comment here and there, definitely.
Yeah, if you choose to, it's quite fun. It's interacting, and you find your peeps. Let's be fair, because it's like, why did I bring up Twitter? I can't remember now. And it's Wednesday, isn't it?
Collingwood did it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Sandy, the morons. I think that's answering your question, not calling us morons. Mind you, I'd rather be a moron. Yeah. No, I'm an idiot. An idiot is at the tradition, I believe, and Cortek, you're my Jamie to my Joe Rogan.
I was just going to say, either way, fair call.
Yeah. Idiot is someone who disregards political something, like they don't engage with the political act, and like, yeah, I'm an idiot. Better than morons. Yeah, moron. Yeah, so there's a ladder.
I could not engage. I could not engage well.
Exactly. So yeah, it's fun. So I think they're voting on the pandemic bill tomorrow, and I think it'll get through because it's that whole totally different reality. There's like you're familiar with Jeff Kennett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was very entertaining and seemed mildly educated. No, wait, not Jeff Kennett. I'm thinking of someone else. No, go on. I take that all back. I just had a flash of Jeff Kennett's factual face. I'm not talking about Jeff Kennett. I'm talking about. It was was Victoria Minister, and he used to sit in leather couches and talk about interesting stuff. But that was ages ago, Bob Hawke time.
My point being is I'm agreeing with Jeff Kennett now, and I wasn't like he is a good politician. I just wouldn't vote for him. Does that make sense? Like he's good at what he does, but I wouldn't agree with his ideas. In a Machiavelli point of view, he didn't give back to the people, and that's why he got thrown out because he went harsh, but he went harsh a little bit too much, and it was a shock loss. It was like as a Victorian, no, it bloody wasn't.
He's been around the track a couple of times.
Yeah, and old Danny Boy hates Jeff Kennett's references because you can see it in the press conferences. It's like, well, you don't have to worry. So yeah. Oh, and thank you. Our New Zealand correspondent. Jeff Kennett was part of Beyond Blue, which is amusing because he caused most of the depression in Victoria and then went to Beyond Blue, which is an anti-suicide type of organisation. But that's just me being just silly. My point is I'm agreeing with people that I haven't agreed with now because there's an element of common sense coming out of their mouths. That's the fun part of Twitter.
Well, it should be simplifying into two groups. One group that wants international travel and freedom, one group that doesn't.
Well, yeah. If we can go into the federal aspect of the United States, it's you didn't see any of the inauguration, did you? For Biden.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of a bit of a Universal Studios kind of event.
Yeah. It was like, hang on, because no one was there.
There were no real heads of military, army, or air force or anything. Everyone.
It was very weird.
Got their costume from a cheap place. A little seemed like costume night to me.
Yeah, well,
what I saw.
Very Hunger Games because they had Lady Gaga come out and sing, and she's wearing the same dress as someone from the Hunger Games. It's like, really.
Didn't see that coming.
Well, no, it's like whoever the marketing team's like, oh crap, we have to do something.
I got a great idea.
Yeah, it's like, the inauguration's tomorrow. What are we going to do? I've been watching the Hunger Games. Let's just rip that off. Oh, all right, I'll write that down. Yeah. It's like, I've got a good idea.
That fits.
Yeah, but by watching bits of it, because I watch because I should know a little bit of the global narrative when I do a show like this, because people sometimes listen in and it's like, oh, that's happening. Ooh, their total reality, like the Democratic Party thinks they're saving the United States from Trump.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is a lot of it just people being employed to give good advice and not really tell the truth? And and that's like the classic scientific tenure where you try and ask the unanswerable questions, so your employment goes on for longer.
Oh yeah,
gotta get funding. How you could be so out of touch.
Well, they've created their own reality. They think that Donald Trump was like the whole Russian gate. That has been proven that it was completely false. It was made up, and the media went because the hatred of Donald Trump existing was so strong. There's so many ways you can see how it's unfolded, where the respect of the office of the president of the United States is not there anymore because all these idiots were attacking Donald Trump as the president.
They were attacking the office, is what they were doing.
Yeah,
and debasing every single thing around it to try and get in themselves, and then expecting to be able to flip a switch and turn everything back on.
Yeah, they don't. Why are people so disrespectful to Biden? Well, apart from his what's the
spastic.
Vegetables, the latest one. What's a vegetable people don't eat? Biden. And this latest footage, he kissed a young boy on camera again. Like, oh dear God,
it's dirty sniffer.
Yeah, it's sad, but there's no respect for the office anymore because the Democratic side of things and the media just shred it. No respect.
Put a legitimate laser eyes flying Superman in that office, and people would go, look, no, it's just not working for me. I've been around this, carousel too many times to think.
But, yeah. So, Dolores Cannon, are you familiar with her?
Yeah.
She's cool. Yeah. She's passed on, so she's probably she's when we break through the spiritual block that we have for a multi-dimensionality, she'll be there going, "Hello, yes, I was right. Just go over here. This is this is an ice cream van. You should try the 8,000 flavors."
Maybe just saying her name, which she's tuned in already. Hello, Mrs. C.
Yeah, but from her, basically there's going to be a frequency split, and you can see the division that we have on the planet. And now the Democratic Party thinks they're saving everyone, and everyone's if you don't vote for me, you're not black. It's like, Mr. Biden, you stop. And I mean, let's not get into the hypocrisy of the media where Biden's he shat himself at the Vatican. It's like, oh well, Trump picks up a glass of water with two hands, and there's 18 minutes on that on CNN every hour. Oh, the president's weak. And they're like, for God's sake. So they completely have lost their minds, or they're creating this reality that America's going to be great again. We've saved it. Now, if you look at the last 10 months, how's that going?
Shitful.
Yeah, technical term. We can get away with that. Yep. It's just one above stuffed, but starts with an F. One thing they mentioned on that Tim Cast podcast was that it's not really about left and right. It's the freedom of forcing people to have a medical procedure. And they got to the point where over 1 million people have crossed the southern border, and there is no mandates to have them jabbed at all. And yet Americans, actual citizens of the United States, have been in lockdown, have to wear masks, and there's all the mandates and everything else like that. And I mean, is
that because there's no deal to pay for it?
Well, who knows what
it's all about profit at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's just the hypocrisy at the highest level, because it's
obvious
like, hey, why should I have a jab when you've let 1 million trespassers just walk across our front lawn?
I think that would be an easy way to make money at the door.
Yeah, well, jab them. It'll be better for the story of like, oh, we're letting them in because America needs new blood and stuff like that. And good, fine people. But they're not jabbed. They're just walking around willy-nilly, and it's chaos. They're trying to cause chaos. But the reality of the major part of the Democrat, there's no common sense or critical thinking, because President Biden's doing wonderful. Have you seen how much a gallon of petrol or fuel or gasoline is nowadays?
Is it loads?
Mm-hmm. Someone showed there's stickers where it's Biden pointing, saying, "I did that," and it's right on a petrol on a gas pump, and it's $30 United States US money, and I think it's just over 8 gallons. And it's like,
what was the jump kind of thing? Oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
so, yeah. No, a lot of the places across Sydney, it's sitting around.
Yeah,
140 to 165. You can see that on Petrol Spy.
Yeah, I've got that as well. I actually got petrol earlier this week, and because I'm driving my mum to Ballarat on Sunday, easier now, and I said, oh yeah, petrol's about $1.59, and it's like, well, here's $50, so because she's paying for the fuel. I'm like, I don't have that type of money, because at another petrol station it is $1.93 a litre.
That's mental.
34 cents difference. And that's high prices, and so you got inflation. My understanding from the US point of view is was it 2019 or 2020, because of what Trump was doing, the United States was self-sufficient for fuel for the first time since 1957. And it's ooh.
I found a few of these who are trying it on 191 in this whole map of fluctuating prices. There's just a few that seem to have just had their corporate numbers set.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
just throw a few 191s in here, get a little bit extra profit.
Well, I think it's the way they if you have a tanker turn up to your station, the price is set for when the tanker turns up. And so I think the place that I did get fuel at, that will be the same price until they replenish their what's the word? Product stock. They fill the tank again. And so the place that I usually sometimes go to where it's 193 is like, well, obviously that's the next shipment that came in, and it's extremely expensive. Like there's a meme of like, my girlfriend said, take me somewhere expensive to eat, and they're sitting at a petrol station. Like, so they've got a table right out in near the pumps.
That's kind of crazy. There is also a global computer chip shortage that every single thing that is being made is now kind of more expensive or being slower to manufacture and get out there.
And you've got the supply chain problem on the west coast, because I think Florida's open and they're just going. They're actually that common sense of like, well, we don't have to follow your insane mandates, Uncle Joe. And there you go. That's basically how that's going. But I think 100 ships waiting out in the port. It's outside LA. Is it the Bay? I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of boats up there, isn't there? I mean, I guess that's to say. I guess this whole stupidity residue that we have from this, with people still walking around with chin diapers when there's, in situations where they really, really don't need to, and it's probably not good to, probably really actually quite bad for them to exercise in these things and stuff like that people are still doing. We're left with this residue of stupidity a lot of the time with these situations, like we were with the, we were left with a massive inconveniences getting on planes after 9/11, even though the risk really kind of wasn't there, or it was quite obvious where the risk came from.
But that was the start of manipulating the fear, because like for a while there, after watching not the first one, because Australian TV went to a live shot of New York after the first plane went in.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because if they went beforehand, like, well, how did you know that? But for like 3 or 4 months, every time you see a plane or a tall building, you had that image of the second one going in. And we won't discuss real plane drones or holograms. It's just the vision of that. And I remember seeing footage of Americans actually running because they saw a plane, but because it was so shocking, and it just tapped into the base fear of humanity. It's like, thanks for that. And so now you've got the pandemic, which I think for Australia was March when it kicked in. We've had 18, 20 months.
88 weeks.
Yeah, 88 weeks, and it's like, yeah, really? With everything that's going on, like, I'm tempted to say to family, have you been double dosed? No, I think it's safer to actually get the disease.
It's just slowing everything down, and it's just a big excuse for doing nothing for politicians.
Oh, no, they're manipulating. Like Alex, who was on with Tim, was saying that they're going to try and collapse. It's part of the Great Reset planning type of stuff, where they're trying to collapse the economy and everything else like that.
Make everyone relying on the government. Make the government God.
Basically, yeah, it's just all a bit silly. This friggin' new setup for Skype's peeing me off. Anyway, back to the conversation. You've got the supply chain. Well, I'll skip to the end of my little mini rant. It's like, in a pandemic and a health crisis, they're firing healthcare workers.
None of it seems sensible.
No, it doesn't. I believe 4,000 healthcare workers in Queensland have lost their jobs because they didn't want to be jabbed.
Yeah.
And then they can say, look, our system is buckling under the weight of, like, oh, really? You mean all the vaccinated people that are sick? And
that's because you've only got Janice at reception left.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been jabbed and I feel sick. And Premier Andrews has said, it looks like it's going to be 3 doses. I'm like, oh, here we go. And so I can see.
How can you say that with a straight face, as if no one saw that coming? As if no one thought down the road that, no, this is a program. This is a yearly program you want to profit off.
oh, it'll be 6 months. There's been talking about 3 months, and there's pills, and if you follow the theme of it is basically vaccine passports, electronic. It's part of climate change, and then you'll get the social credit score, and so everyone will be tracked and controlled and all that type of to save the planet and look after your health by being a dumbed down peasant. And that's part of the reset will because their idea is we'll just collapse everything, then we'll have a one world currency, and everyone can start from the same position. Unfortunately, it means you'll be living in a hole. And so here
everyone
we go.
starts from a hole, though.
Yeah,
it must have looked good on paper. That's all I got to say.
Well, it's psychopathic, where it's that communism where equity and equality and all that type of thing. It's like, but Joe Rogan's really good at fighting. I'm not going to fight him. Alex Jones has got his own skill set. I've got my skill set. You've got yours. Pony. We're not all equal. We're all unique. And so by putting us all into, so I saw a meme just earlier from Wallace and Gromit, and it was like communists through history. We'll try it at another point. We'll try it somewhere else. It didn't work for this one. It's just, it's trying to find a neutral, observing, comedic point of view, and it's like, really? Okay. So I can see with the pandemic bill going in Victoria, because half of them think, no, this is good. We need to, there's a deadly disease, there's a virus out there, even though, if you, it's 99.97% chance that you'll survive, or you won't end up in hospital or something like that. The numbers, basically, it's the point. Like,
I would be surprised though if all the numbers related to all this kind of stuff is fudged. When they're saying, half the people, want this stuff, it's like, no, probably not. Most people can see this is absolute stupidity.
Yeah, well, and the Dan
the people walking along with masks on their face.
Well, you got the protesters at the front of Parliament right now. It's like Occupy Spring Street is what it's called, and the House of Parliament is actually on Spring Street. Hence
Melbourne's been so amazing in terms of people getting up every day and getting out there and protesting this stuff. They're just a massive example to the rest of the country that just seems lost in the apathy of.
And Brisbane's doing quite well as well. I believe there's 7,000 to 8,000 people there, but the media's saying a couple of hundred. That's today. The big protest on Saturday. Wow, that's only 4 days away. A lot has happened. We've got a full moon coming up on the weekend, and there's a very long eclipse, and it's like, energetically I can feel it, because time's just doing that weird. And Doctor Who's on it. It's crap. Anyway, just get that Doctor Who reference in. But police estimates of the crowd that was in Melbourne on Saturday, 90,000 people.
Yeah. I saw that above shot, comparing it to, what was it, a protest back in the 70s or 80s, maybe it was a Vietnam protest or something like that.
Late 60s, early 70s for the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Because that's when Australia had conscription. And
a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like we actually, we volunteer to go to war. We don't have the government saying, no, you go. And especially for that war where it's like, really? Why are we here? Shut up. Go out and die. All right then. So 90,000, which is almost, I think the MCG's around about 100,000, 105,000 or something like that. So
it's a great turnout.
You could fill one MCG, for those who know what the MCG is, which is the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Guns N' Roses played there, so did David Bowie. Does that give you a hint?
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's a bloody huge. It's annoying that they've only got one scoreboard at the end. Anyway, I digress a lot. And there's still these people, it's like 90,000. Oh, but it's only less than 1% of Victorians that are against this bill. It's a threat to democracy. And like, yeah, okay. How does that, like, the mindset of these people where it's like, really, are you so out of touch? Like, I've got family members saying, oh, the unvaccinated, you got to be wary of them. They're the danger. Not really. Well, if you keep insulting them like that, yeah. Arby from Rebel News actually put up a great thing where it's like, because the latest thing is to call everyone, like, apparently QAnon's back here in Australia, and there's Trump supporters, so it's that, everyone's a racist,
Is it Australia doing its own QAnon thing to try and copy, that big QAnon psyop in the States that we saw that was just overturned as a big psyop?
No. No, this is the result of the PSYOP, because you've got people disagreeing with the narrative of the government, and so these Dan lovers just go, it's a QAnon cult. They're all tinfoil hat wearing.
Oh, so they're just using old terminology too.
Yeah, basically.
Saying Hoover when they're talking about a vacuum.
And then the white supremacists, and there's far right wing, the far right leaders. Which is basically anyone that disagrees with me is far right. It's that type of level of mentality. And Arby went around and talked to people from Sudan, Greek people, Iranians, went through all the ethnicities because apparently they're white supremacists. And it's like, so, and someone jokingly said, white supremacists blackfacing and putting on large ethnic eyebrows to fit in. And the people that are in the photo laughed at it because they know exactly it wasn't taking the mickey out of them. It was just pointing out the stupidity of it. Like, let's go Brandon, that level of stuff. By the way, let's go Brandon. Actually, here in Victoria's, let's go Brandan.
Hey.
So the people have spoken, but there's that division that we've been talking about, which is just that classic divide. They're not conquering, though, which I find interesting that, as Joe Rogan said, it's the end of the Kali Yuga. A lot of these cycles, when a big cycle ends, there's probably 17 cycles at the same time from different, 3 weeks, 3 years, 3 decades, 300 years, 3,000 years, as these cycles end, when you have a really big one, a lot doing a catch up. It's like, that's me. And it feels different. Like people know something's wrong, but something also big's happening. And of course, we decided to come to Earth to do this. We have to wait and see.
That was what was on the cover of the pamphlet, Christ Unity.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to go spiritual Karen once I can talk to the Prime Creator, and
I'll say it was in the fine print.
What the hell is this, you stupid freaking?
You just seemed happy to go at the time. You didn't really even flick through the pamphlet. I gave it to you.
I did that small routine when I was doing the comedy show with Andrew Bartzis, and at the end of it's gone, then you realise the Prime Creator's you. It's like, damn it.
Always one step ahead.
Exactly. I'm always one step ahead. Swine. So it's just, but remember to have a laugh. Hopefully we're making people giggle. You're not dead yet, but also you never die, so we won't open up that can of worms. And the evil is winning. No, they're not, because they're utterly crap at it. They're not winning at all. Apparently 9/11 was supposed to bring in the New World Order. It's been 21 years and they're still on the back foot. Now, here's some comedy fodder. There's rumors, I'm getting this from the Timcast show, that the mainstream media is saying, Biden, we have to get rid of Biden now. Like, he's just shite. Let's get rid of him, because it's like...
I think a decent topic of conversation is why we have to wait so long to get rid of these people who are actually underperforming.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
Why do we do it? Why do we do it on a worldwide scale? Let's look at.
That's the thing about there are most people saying,
let's get them in for a month.
Yes, sack Dan Andrews. We'll vote him out. It's like, that's another 12 months, and you're just kicking the can down the road, and like, no wonder this is taking forever.
Year at max, maybe. But you get in the conversation about how large scale, large scale massive undertakings can be done in such a short time scale. But then I think you just push your larger scale things into the public forum and let them be managed that way.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm too
Uh,
optimistic about
yeah,
mass
but
undertakings
well,
being
yeah.
carried out in
Uh,
a positive way.
well, at the end of the day, we win, whatever that means. But we have to get from here to there. And it's like you still have to be vigilant and but not engage, and it's spiritual warfare, and you win it by not being part of it, but still you have to buy food, cat food. Yeah, my cat's just there. Yeah. What I'm getting at is Biden's approval rating's 38%, and he has dementia. He likes the kids. And there's so much wrong with him. It's like, really? This is supposed to be the leader of the free world, and the media's coddled. But the media is now actually saying we should get rid of Biden, like, now. Get rid of him now.
Doing the silent kind of hand across the throat, just shaking the head. No.
Yes,
Get him out.
Cut. The thing is, though, there's talk of getting. Is it Buttigieg? I just remember his butt plug. That's just. It's wrong.
What did it look like? Did it have a diamond in it or something?
Well, no, apparently him and his husband have just got a kid, so he's on maternal leave. It's like, well, fine, but they're trying to chest feed him. It's like, well, that's not fine, you weirdos. But Booty Judge.
That's a little bit creepy, though. When you
yeah, this is like, really? Like, mental illness is going through the roof. But they're talking about Buttigieg or butt plug or whatever his friggin' name is to leapfrog Kamala. Figuratively, of course, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to give that image of, I've already done it. But the thing is, the left is going to fracture because, like, she was put in for ideological purposes of, like, she's the woman, she's dark skinned, blah blah blah, and so you want to get rid of Biden. And apparently, Jill Biden actually said she's a doctor apparently, but still allows her husband to go out and ruin most of the earth. How can we get rid of Kamala Harris? Because her approval rating is 28%. It's the lowest approval rating for a vice president of the United States in 5 decades.
He seems so phony.
Yeah, well, yeah, with her Joker laugh and
And plus, a lot to the massive resting female dog face.
Yeah, and so this is the weirdness that we're in, and so if you just watch it as a movie.
Buddy geek, buddy.
Yeah,
plug.
But a judge or something. But yeah, so this is where the comedic minds. Oh, butt plug. Damn it, I'm trying to remember it that way.
Move on.
yeah, butt plug. He's gay. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? Okay. Why do I sound like that King Prawn from the Muppets? I like doing the voice.
You went a little bit Dirty Sanchez mouse.
Hey, come on, all right? Yeah, it's okay. He's good. It is a good character. So that's going to be. I have no idea because you still got Trump out there waddling around. It's like, okay, well, if I don't think he should have another go. It's like he's had his time. He could be like, dare I say it, an elder statesman in the background type thing.
How many people in the US? How many million? To choose from?
330 million. But you need someone from the royal bloodline.
Do you? Really? Do you?
Well, if you look at the last 7 decades, they're all got bloodlines back to the Queen's family.
Where's that gotten us?
Where we are today. What's wrong with you? Clearly.
Hello.
You fool. Like, I jokingly said, there's people in Kenya, parents in Kenya right now are saying to their children, one day you too could become the president of the United States. Because that was something that they said, that was the idea. I think even in Megadeth, what do you mean I could become the president of the United States? That's the idea of what's on paper, that any US citizen, if they do the right things, they become the president. But if you look at the last 70 years, they're all from the same family. Out that
wasn't the case.
Yeah, well, see, if Schwarzenegger,
he thought he could marry into it though, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's a foreigner.
I had this dream. I always had this dream. I was walking around the world and I was ruling the world.
I was married to a very attractive woman, so I had sex with the housekeeper.
That's what he said. He had this big ruling world dream that affected him very deeply.
Yeah, but for him to become president, they had to change. They would have to change the constitution because he's not a a natural born U.S. citizen.
Too bad he brought it up before and didn't ask for apology later.
I'm sure when Obama goes, "Oh, come on, that's not fair."
Come on.
Get to the chopper. See, that'll be amusing. You're like, sir, we need to get to Marine One. Let me say the line. All right, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. His whole campaign could be based around that, and people would just be smiling, going, "Yeah, whatever."
The Simpsons movie had the same thing. You're like, number 5. Are you going to read it? I wasn't elected to read. I was elected to lead. We are halfway. I wish Pony would just be quiet. I mean, just constant interrupting. My name's Monty Dean. This is Planet Collingwood. You're listening to Revolution Radio Studio A. We're at halfway. We'll be right back after these messages. Stick around. Welcome back to Revolution Radio Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. I've been joined by Cortek. And just for a welfare check, Pony, are you still there? Right. Comments from the Supercoach. Just checking because I can't put a mirror under your nose to see if you're breathing. So good work. He's holding energy, yo. If you enjoyed the last hour of Planet Collingwood, please go to freedomslips.com and revolution.radio and donate what you can. It was 100% listener supported, 100% volunteer, just 100%. And while you're there, well, if you do it right now, pop into the chat room and interesting conversation. But I'll let you find out when you log in. Hey, there you go.
What is it? You got to log in to see freedomslips.com.
Well, yeah, and also it's been going for a while, and I don't want to spend half the show just reading out the chat. You can multitask. Oh, dearie me. Pointless information that will not save your life, but may be good in trivia. In the TV show The Crown, the actor playing John F. Kennedy is the same guy that plays Dexter in the show Dexter.
I like Dexter. It was good.
Yeah, it's coming back. And once Julie died, I stopped watching it, so I haven't seen the last 2 seasons.
When anything gets beyond 3 seasons, they're really just getting into wacky territory then.
Yes and no. But it changes because obviously, you need to.
There's a couple moments in that, though, I think it's 3rd or 4th season, that you just go, you just start breathing in air and not even noticing because he gets himself into these situations where you just don't know how he's going to get out, and he does, and you just you realize and you let your breath out.
Yeah, the premise is good. I mean, he kills people, yes, but he only kills bad people. So that's like the anti-hero and that type of thing. Like, there you go. So, but he's come back, and so I still have to watch Sons of Anarchy. I'm in the middle of reading Narcos. Have you seen that?
You mean the same one that's on Netflix or something?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I didn't know it was a book.
No, I'm just reading all the subtitles.
Hey.
I don't speak Spanish, and so I have to read the subtitles. So that's the joke there, Cortek.
I didn't even know it was in Spanish. Right? Okay. Well, that's cool.
They're mainly in Colombia, so they haven't.
I love French films.
Yeah. So it's a good read. And also I'm watching The Crown because they just got season 4, and so I watched all of it. And it's like, wow, this is fascinating. I do find it interesting that I only care about the characters in The Crown, but couldn't give a crap about the real people.
I think that's a better attitude.
Mm-hmm.
We should only really be hearing about politicians if they've done something wrong. Otherwise, they should be just getting on with the job they're paid to do. They're not celebrities. No one wants to look at them. They're in politics because they couldn't do it at the beginning, because no one liked them at school, and they wanted to get, see if they could do make everyone think different or something. All of them just seem very vindictive.
Well, yeah.
Or just out to play the system, whether it's a pension or
Sorry, guys.
Training.
Just been really busy.
You were doing some Rena's?
Yeah, I'm building a sign. I'll get back to you in a minute.
It just sounds like he's hitting on a ball.
I'm tunneling down. I've hit metal.
Just give that a rest.
Yeah, if you could. It's supposed to be having a chat, not hitting metal bowls. No, it sounded good. I like that. Yeah, you put back in. Oh no, can't remember the name of it. It was a movie starring Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin. And anyway. Right. So.
Do you know what the name of the movie was? Because I don't know. It's just going to hang there now.
Part of Me or something, I think, from the mid 80s. I recently, yeah. Anyway, we could talk about entertainment, but it's just crap. And most of it is.
Was Steve Martin ever really funny?
Cartoons.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
well, maybe. Yeah. So, where was I? Oh, yes. Berlin, 1936. I decided to leave. It's just not right.
What isn't?
Yeah, well, that according to Jordan Maxwell, that's the closest religion to whatever spiritual is going on. It's like, yeah, closest, not the one. So there you go.
How did you feel about the crowd?
Slowly. Sorry. Which crowd are you referring to?
The Melbourne crowd.
Yeah, nice show of force. Mainly because the police aren't shooting at people, so you got more people coming out. But now the narrative is that there's a small group that are threatening politicians, and it's just not on. And someone brought some gallows and some nooses, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's so threatening!" It's like, yeah, because when the police shoot at you, that's fine. But if you bring some symbolism about,
an effigy. Ooh.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Christopher Pyne, who was a federal minister last year, there was a climate change protest or something, and they set his effigy on fire. But that's okay. But
that's fair enough.
Yeah, but
protest.
So it's all about narrative, and so
having a bit of a laugh, burning effigies of people.
Yeah, it's been going
that's
around.
Above board.
Yeah. There's a documentary coming
you're
out.
Burning them.
No. Energetically, maybe. But there's a documentary coming out, and part of the marketing is like, he risked everything. It's like, your life wasn't on. You weren't going to get killed. This is not Afghanistan or.
Dan, you're talking about. Is he coming out with biography already?
No. There's a documentary about what's been going on in Melbourne for the last 20 months. How there's a resistance to the tyranny, and that was another thing that came from the Timcast thing is tyranny is not a conspiracy theory. Technically it's a conspiracy, but yeah, it's
what we can see
tyrannic
right now.
Mm-hmm. Because they're using the whole COVID-19 and there's a deadly virus out there. It's like, yeah, if you've got immune problems and you're overweight, like a lot of did you see now, Cortek, let's get those researching fingers. Italy have downgraded their COVID numbers from 300,000 to about 4,000 because it looks like people died with COVID, not from COVID. Yeah.
4 million cases and 4,852,496 cases and 132,000 deaths.
Yeah, but they downgraded it because people died with COVID, not from COVID. So it's going
back to the crowd.
Everyone's looking for a way to back out of this stupidity now.
And also with the crowd, answering Pony's question as well, the crowd, it was a cross-section of society. There was parents with kids. As I said, there was every different ethnic thing. Because people understand it wasn't the left-right paradigm. It's like it's total tyranny of the government wants to control you. And an easy way of having conversation with this is like, okay, Labor's doing this. It's like, well, liberals are, the other side of it doesn't matter doesn't matter who's bringing in the tyrannical orders. Just change it so like where
it's a super good point.
Yeah, it's still tyrannical.
Yeah.
To even talk about the left and the right, and the problem is either left or right is to fall into a trap of that system's making in the first place. Are you doing a good job or are you not doing a good job? You simplify everything. No, you're not doing a good job. Why should we have to wait 12 months or 2 years to change that fact?
Well, the start of this next year is the federal election, and then the Victorian state election is in about 12 months. And so there are people in the communities like, oh, we'll just vote them out. It's like, yeah, that's called kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
But
88 weeks.
It's going to take a while.
88 weeks.
Yeah. And we do have a guest in the green room from New Zealand, but his connection's shite. So when he feels ready, he'll pop in. So I think yeah,
Stabilizing connection.
Yeah. So anyway.
Eating meat pie before it cools down.
Well, yeah, we'll see how we go. And
where were the shock troops, Monty?
Pardon?
Where were the shock troops?
Oh well, it's been watching the Legislative Council, which is the upper house. The one side of the chamber is like, oh, jackboot thugs to go into houses, and someone, you can't use jackboot, that's violence. Like, okay, well they're wearing thongs then.
Steel cap thongs.
You had another, I think they're senators. It's like he's pointing his finger at me aggressively. I'm like, wow, you're 4. You're the age of 4, and you're supposed to be one of the leaders in Victoria. Good.
I think the salad bar sneeze guards is probably a good thing for these guys because they're going to have to go through microphones. They just can't just spew bile at each other. In terms of a lot of that time there was this when there was not many females in politics and stuff like that. It was just kind of disgusting how kind of raucous it kind of was. So at least now with these salad bar sneeze guards in front of everyone, there might, I assume there's then someone on a mixer because they have to use microphones, and you could just mute these idiots out.
Yeah.
I think that'd be an interesting job.
Yeah, dangerous too. But
interesting enough. Yeah, you go. You talk.
Yeah,
and certainly run it by my microphone.
Yeah, I should bring it on to the planet Collingwood. Then you people will show respect. But the sneeze guards are only in the lower house where there's more, but because of density, and I mean like the numbers compared to space, where only one person per 4 square meters or something ridiculous.
The lower house where people are actually interested in turning up.
Yeah, well, if you look at like not the house. Is it the House of Commons in England or the United Kingdom where they have their parliament? It's like 400 people in a shoebox. They're all sitting on top of each other. It's like, okay.
Very Harry Potter, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've got 67 million people in the size of Victoria, and they still have countryside. And it's like, wow. There's
a difference in accent like every 10, 15 kilometres in the UK as well. It's so funny.
There's like 7 or 8 accents. Australia's probably, 5 or 6? And you can tell. There's the famous one where it sounds like you're talking out of your nose, mainly so the flies don't get in your mouth.
You got 4 Walker.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another 5.
Yeah, then you got the Queenslanders. Not every Queenslander sounds like this, but some do. And you can have it here, and it's fascinating where you've got the Greek or the Italian, the Southern European accents, and good times. But they're all speaking English somehow.
They're all getting along, that's for sure.
Well, one does hope.
Apart from this 88 weeks of 2 weeks to flatten the curve ludicrousness.
Well, that's the thing as well, where there are people still tapped into their primal fear that we're all going to die.
Well, in some ways they're right if that's what they want to believe. If they want to set their internals up and think about what's going on in their body and make them, self-last for a lot longer, they need to think about that kind of stuff. How they're going to do it? They just walk into eternal life.
Well, have you heard
by
of
drinking some liquid or something?
Have you heard of a small band out of New York? I think they're New York. Kiss. You've heard of Kiss?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Gene Simmons, the man who is against drugs and alcohol, and he poo-poos people for it, but he slept with 5,000 women, so it's good to hear from a slut. He basically has said that if you don't take the vaccine, yeah, I know. It's like, I mean, that
5K.
comedic ideas that I think it's 3,000. Anyway, it's thousands, but really, you're talking to people about addiction, and you're a slut. But good for him. Whatever floats his boat.
I don't feel bad for the guy,
No, but he has come out and said, if you do not have the vaccine, you are the enemy. You cannot walk around with us and all this type of stuff. And even
the
Alex
enemy
Jones
of what? Wait, what are we the
of
enemy
humanity. It's like you're
is it that
being
easy?
if you're not vaccinated, you're selfish, and it doesn't mean you care. It's that whole vaccine cult of like, well, I've been injected with this experimental gene therapy.
It's the Borg.
Yeah, it's cultish.
It's Borgish.
Well, no, the Borg have more better merchandising, and story. But it's very
And
cult like.
cast.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I've done my bit, and when those people grandstand, like you can, I'm vaccinated, you're welcome. For what?
Yeah.
That your ego's out of control?
It doesn't do anything and stop you getting it or transmitting it. So you're welcome back.
Well, yeah, and that's the media and the government where they push it where everyone should be vaccinated and so on and so forth. But
It's just a hand. I hear ooh ooh Amos ooh coming through.
It's ooh.
I'm sorry.
It's
Not
an
a good
ostrich.
intro with the coppers, or was it? Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Thanks for the introduction over the last few hours.
No, that's all right. I usually would say that the three of us, Cortek, myself, and Pony, which is grammatically completely wrong. So take that, English teachers.
Take that.
Hello from the future. However, you're in New Zealand and you're ahead of us. So you're beyond the future.
I think
while we're on that topic, go Cortek.
No, I was just saying, I think we like to think of ourselves and New Zealand as brothers and sisters because New Zealand is actually that little bit slightly ahead, I think.
Yeah, well, we're all Anzacs. We're all Anzacs.
And we like our meat pies, but I'm from over there, so I don't know if I technically class myself as a, Kiwi. But
My credit retracted.
10 years, 10 years, I'm like, it's getting nearly 12 now. So, but anyway, on Friday the 19th. So what's that? In 2 days?
Very close. 2 days.
Yeah, there's at 3 a.m. It's when an eclipse starts, the moon eclipse.
Yeah, well, 3 a.m. where?
In Trinidad. Now, who's the timekeeper? Who's the expert timekeeper?
I can't get to Trinidad by then.
No, you don't have to. It's
okay,
global.
So it'll be,
so glad it's going to be televised.
It'll be straight above New Zealand, possibly, or something like that, because for it to be late. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Unless it's cloudy.
It has been, but no. Tonight it's not. It's like there's a few clouds, and I just did a live stream just to test the connection, and it was working, and there was a little bit of a rainbow around the cloud. Around the moon where the clouds were sitting over it, but then when the camera went on, it didn't show it as well, so and it sort of faded away. But
that's chemical residue, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. To use a golfing reference, we're in the rough here. Let's get back onto the fairway. There is a full moon and a very long eclipse. I believe it's one of the longest in 400 years or something.
4 hours. 4 hours. Yeah. So. Yeah,
where's the best place to watch this online? Because we're not in Trinidad. Anyone have got any tips?
Well, I think out the window, because you're probably going to see it, because the moon will be high up above, out to the east or above you. Because I think it might be to the west of.
Just search on the net. You'll find where the perfect place for it.
So if it's 3 o'clock over there and it's going to 4 to 5, and then between 5 and 6 is like the totality. 5:03 to 6:03.
But Trinidad is around about 8 hours ahead of us.
I'm not going to be in Trinidad. I keep saying
no, but I keep telling you, like, if it's going to be like 9 o'clock in the morning your time, Cortek.
18th, 19th of November, lunar eclipse partial. Much of Europe, much of Asia, Australia, Northwest Africa.
Well, if it's 4 hours, it's going to hit most of the planet. Yeah, maybe the Americas will miss out on it.
Do you think it'll be like 9 in the morning for Australia? Is that what it works out?
To see the eclipse,
just what I worked in my head. Also, I'm sure one or two people are going to point a camera at it. So, the wonderful joy of the internet.
No. Well, they had the blood moon eclipse was like a couple of months ago here, and it was at 11 o'clock position, like right up there.
Yeah.
But most people who were videoing it was like, it went for too long. Oh, my arms are getting tired. It's getting cold out here.
I look at this eclipse map. I think we see the whole thing.
Most likely, yeah, because if it is 4 hours long, if Trinidad is that's roughly at 3 a.m.
So,
No,
actually, in other words, expect chemtrails because they probably won't want to let you see it.
No, well, there you go. But what we see, there's on this, I found a link, time and date, Eclipse Lunar 2021, November 19. Time and date, though, seems to be a good thing. Good page. It's got this eclipse map and animation, so it tells you exactly what's going on with the eclipse as it moves across that bit. And we seem to be getting, when you kind of scrub the video, we won't be able to see the first half of the moon being in eclipse, but we will be able to see maybe the last quarter of the eclipse retracting is what it seems to be, which is kind of weird when you think we should be able to see it anyway, but I guess it's all about angles on that.
But that's just the fantastical element of actually watching it through the atmosphere in your eyeball. But energetically, what does it mean? Because everyone's feeling, feeling it.
Okay, a year ago this time, there was a blue moon over Turkey or Greece area at the Halloween blue moon. It was on the 26th of October. Like everyone expected it to be on the full moon, which was like a couple of days after the 26th, but it happened a couple of days before. And then they had that big earthquake, and heaps of people, died. But I don't think they had it on the news too much.
I think there's no doubt. The sun effects of the energy affects us all. You can see that if you get out in the morning and you see the different ways where sometimes maybe if you're in a car or whatever have to go anywhere for the same time, just looking at the same patterns and how even traffic fluctuates. In terms of how everyone could have had a bad night's sleep or something like that.
You're feeling the energy now. So not because it's just not like 11:05 in the morning you feel the effects. It's like that's when it's at its strongest. You're feeling that
the whole start to the fluctuation in its whole bell curve.
We might have already missed them because I've got this thing here and it's a bit ambiguous because it's at the top. It says super blood moon to be visible on the 16th, 18th to the 19th, 21st of November, which will be seen in London, England, Europe, Spain. From New York to Greenland, etc. 41 second to midnight. It's a code red event. Solar eclipse to be visible and begin at sunrise. So it might be a red one, red blood moon. So because sometimes you get the orange.
I've only got a couple of colors.
Good humour there. You got me laughing. Okay, solar eclipse to be visible and begin on sunrise in South Africa, Kenya, Zambia at 6:33 a.m. See, I don't know if this is for the 16th or for the 17th, 18th.
It'd be the 19th, 20th.
Not going to be in Tanzania though.
No, this is solar eclipse. So this might have been on the day that this was posted, which was a couple of days ago. So I've only just got it up now.
The solar eclipses,
in the Telegram group.
If you're going to hunt anything, the solar eclipses are the ones to hunt, are they not?
So
I just remembered my only Trump joke that I have is like, Donald Trump's an interesting person. Now he did look at directly at a solar eclipse.
That's what makes him interesting.
You can't
help yourself. Yeah. So whatever you do, don't look at the sun. And you take a sneaky little peek at it. Just check yourself.
There are ways where you actually
wasn't damaging.
Yeah, well, obviously, because he still can see. It's like 4 years ago. But if you get a piece of paper and put a pinhole, you can, if you want it, because it blocks everything else like that. But it is, like, from the woo-woo section of reality, it's a very interesting moon because it is the longest, and so there'll be a lot of energy cleanups and all that type of stuff.
going to be an amazing
Can I finish
weekend.
this? Because down further it talks about Australia, so I want to get. It's only real short.
Sorry to interrupt. Go on.
But no. But so to Africa, South Africa, Kenya, Zambia at 6:33 a.m. and then travel through China, Southeast Asia, Southeast China, South Korea, Philippines, Luzon, Davao, Mindanao, General Santos City, all islands in the Philippines, Indonesia, Jakarta, Java, Bali, Central, East, South, Lombok, Central, it is a bit long, Kalimantan, Banten, all the islands in Indonesia, Papua, Sulawesi. Okay, and begin at 10:01 WIB AM. So that's West Indies time, I'd say, AM.
What is the base then?
10 o'clock. I don't know. It's got me confused. So, okay, we'll be seen from Australia, Northern Territory, Western Australia, Queensland at sunset, 5:58 p.m. We might have already missed it. It might be right now.
Shit, quick.
Yeah. It's
save it.
Pakistan, India, Saudi Arabia. It might have been yesterday or tomorrow. It could be. It's like sometimes then. Ethiopia, Thailand, Papua New Guinea at 4 p.m. Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan. That must be Pakistan. Mongolia. It can be seen also in United Kingdom, Greece, Albania
at
6 a.m. 6 a.m.
It's
UK
the sun.
time, and we'll be,
stop talking about me.
And we'll be 9 a.m. South Africa. No, that's the earthquake thing going off. It's just a small one. South Africa time. This divine shifting will usher in a greater magnetic.
Someone's got another message.
Yeah, no, it's the earthquake tracker. Yeah. They adjusted. Well, but okay, that was it. So yeah.
But interesting enough, it's strangely enough, I would say that the position of the moon would be affecting the earthquake, is because it's all linked.
Yes.
Thanks for that, Cortek. Yeah.
Volcanoes, earthquakes, moon, they're all signs. This is why people are talking about the mark of the beast in the book of Revelation so much, because of all that, and that's why I'm sort of going down that track. But just a little bit at a time, because some people, it's a bit too much to bear sometimes. But,
there's a lot of tenuous call signs, though, like from the buses that brought COVID into the UK being called the Four Horsemen and stuff like that. There's a lot of forced. I don't know what the plural of tenuous is, but there's a lot of that going on.
It sounds like someone's following a script.
Synchronicities. That debases synchronicities.
Well,
it's more bad script following.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I was going to talk about New Zealand a little bit. So just before I forget, and then we can go on to all sorts of things.
New Zealand's awesome.
Over here,
how's it going over there?
Well, they're sort of trying to blaze a trail like they always do. Jacinda's really trying to, set a good example for all the other Western leaders that are sold out to the Chinese communist policy thing that they're doing to everybody.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people really happy with what she's done. Like people who are really watching closely.
I have seen footage of her being asked a question from a journalist. Well, they call them journalists, I don't know. But the thing was so basically when these mandates and all this, vaccine passport kicks in, it'll be a two-tier society. Oh, yes. And she just basically gleefully points
that's what it is. Yeah. She promised that at the election promise was there will be no mandates, there will be none of this. You've got no fears, nothing to fear there. And now it's like, yes, there's mandates.
It's what they do.
Yes. But okay, so the politician that called her out and probably should have won the election, except the election system's rigged over here. It doesn't matter how you vote; they just install who they want anyway.
You think it's just over there?
Oh no, everywhere. Okay, so
anyway,
because diabolical machines, whatnot. But so they had this guy's and Vinny's trying to do live streams today. We were all having the same problem. We could go to their live stream, but it would just go to a black screen. So I still haven't seen what he said about what was going on today.
My question to you would New Zealand necessarily maybe be in line with laws that Australia have passed regarding? Australia's passed these Neanderthal laws that they can data manipulate and just go into people's computers and just play with stuff. Yeah, so that's a step more than just playing with people.
That was done under John Key. Yeah.
It seems to be. it seems to be the Five Eyes that have been the main thing. Like, it's Greta Thunberg saying we have to do something about climate change, and she's been doing 8-9 years and still hasn't mentioned China. So for whatever reason, it's the Five Eyes Western countries are the target, and it could be the element of freedom. But New Zealand, because with the pandemic bill here in Victoria, the defence of it is like, they have the same thing in New South Wales and New Zealand. So New Zealand's been used as an example, which just basically backs up the assertion that you've both said, where there's that link, there's a plan and they're all linked.
There's a lot, yeah. There's, statisticians would call it a
facilities. So you're seeing Brisbane's got that big well camp built now, with electric fences and everything. So I don't know if that's to keep them protected when they run and hide there.
10 years ago, we would have called that a FEMA camp, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I've seen one. Yeah.
Well, it could be like it could be the fortress. It's a castle, like Robert Redford, turning the prison into the castle.
Funny. Someone's got another
They
message.
could go either way. No, someone's fiddling with the earthquake tracker again.
Someone needs to maybe put their phone on mute.
You and your logic.
Okay, it's a new one. I've got to figure that one out. Okay, so guess what? On the top where the screen usually is, it's not there. That one. Okay, the speaker-looking one. Oh, that's the one. Okay, okay, there it was, right there in front of me.
Inside thoughts.
Right.
Thank you for the help with that.
The term boomer is being used a lot these days.
Yeah, but I'm not even like.
I know. That's the thing about. I'm Gen X, and Gen X gets very. Yeah, Gen X get very upset when they're called boomers. It's like, you're way off by a generation. And then,
I just woke up from my afternoon siesta and I've still got a headache and I'm trying to rehydrate, and it's how it is when your brain's just thumping inside your head and you're trying to get.
You sound like you need to stay hydrated and remember to eat when your body needs sustenance.
Listen to the body, yeah, and maybe have a break from all this wackiness.
I only know this because I'm going through exactly the same things myself.
The bowl of nutrients I just consumed. Dehydrated me a little bit too, I guess.
Yeah, and you've just pointed out why you don't have a cooking show on Showtime. I've prepared a bowl of nutrients, ladies and gentlemen.
So we were talking about New Zealand. See, that's why I said let's get it out before I forget, because I'm like, I'm starting to forget now. Quick,
get it out.
Because they're hitting me with the 5G. It's like, don't let him speak. My brain's got like all these little lightning bolts coming through.
Yeah. Stop talking about you. Talk about your country.
So they have a picture of a tree with all these nurses' uniforms hung on it, and it's like a meme. It's a meme. It's a meme I saw today, and the meme's going, well, here's all the uniforms, all the people who quit today, who don't want to take a jab that's so safe and effective,
That's a fair call. I was just thinking.
So there's all that. Well, this is why our internet's slow today, because the nurses are resigning en masse or just putting in complaints or, getting told not to come to work, and they're probably going to go down a legal challenge because their careers are on the line and they're not willing to give them up without a fight. So there's a lot of that organising going on, where people are getting letters and letter writing help going on, and there's people organising homeschools for the teachers who have finished their work today. They're going to become homeschoolers, and everyone's getting organised en masse. That's what I'm seeing. But at the meantime, there's not much getting put out about it, because the suppression's hard at the moment. They've got their foot on the
doers trying to work out a better way. This is what everyone has to do. Everyone, from feeding yourself regularly so you stay hydrated, to working out how we educate our younger people in a better way. This is all the stuff that needs to be worked out. Because the people who have been paid to do it so far have just been taking the money basically for themselves and not doing a good job, and almost just using it like a scientific experiment to see about well, if we do this, will the kids end up like this? Well, if we introduced lesbianism and homosexuality to the kids at 6 or 7 years old, will they adopt that just as a way to seem special amongst their friends?
Yes.
Yeah, now, the chances are yes, and you can see that now.
That's why
they take $50? Will they take $50 to go and get a jab from a van that's offering money And this is what they're doing beside the schools over one of the schools there. So, you know, all sorts of things. One, we even set up like an ice cream truck near where the van was for doing the free medical experiment trial, you know, for the kids who need consent from their parents, but obviously they magically just say, yeah, my parents consent. Here, give me the 50 and I'll take that thing. And then one kid went and got two of them to get paid twice. Like, that's all.
Entrepreneur in the making.
Yeah. In the space of 10 minutes. Sure, you can have another one.
But, you know, a horrific story might be we might see in 10 days that child might be, like, passed away. You know, we don't know what's going to happen next. Like,
I reckon he probably had about 40 ice creams out of it, though.
He probably died from
what
calcium.
Price happiness?
Yeah. Now, that's been happening for the last 10...
No reporting in the media on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello? Is this thing on? Right.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm the host. Good to see you. That's been going on for the last 10 months. A lot of people in New South Wales, the United States of America, are doing homeschooling because of just the ridiculousness that's happening. Same thing in the UK.
It's mandated anyway, but it really is a very, very base job being done at the moment, and everyone thrown into it at the moment is struggling to work out what it is and find those rhythms as well.
Well, no, what I'm referring to is there's people are taking the kids out of schools because of just the curriculum is just ridiculous.
That's the next step. That's the next step.
They're homeschooling, and teachers that have lost their job at said institutions are now parents are finding them, and they'll probably make more money from the homeschooling. So a teacher can come over and teach 5 or 6 kids, which I think is a much better classroom than 35 kids.
Well, I'm thinking even down the lines of why don't they get on Telegram and teach 200 children if they're really good at something, and have a School of the Air sort of system where you can do screen sharing and.
No, you can't have classes that big. The problem is when you're teaching anyone, any people, that there are going to be people who learn in different ways and so have questions. And if you can't have time to answer an individual question in 8 hours in a day because you've got 200 or 300 people that you're teaching, or you can't have classes that big. That's the thing.
No.
What we've seen in New South Wales this year, what we've seen this year is an amalgamation even between having a year 1 with a year 2 and a year 2 with a year 3. I don't know what's going on. It seems to be statewide, but it's not optimal, and there's not a better focus for education because of it. Sorry, go on.
See, in the early days, it's possible just to do that as a stopgap because you've only got a few of these new style teachers. You've got a lot more people wanting the service. Do it like that what I've noticed with the freedom groups that are forming on Telegram and all sorts of things, people getting organised, is that they're just locals. They're private groups. They don't have any sort of trolling going on, and they're sharing good information. Everyone's waking up together, and and then this is sort of the next step. And so those groups are forming in small numbers, 30, 50, 70, 100. So there's sort of manageable numbers to do those sort of manageable group activities, and there's venues that can be made available at private residences for groups, for getting together activities or whatever, and still stay in the 50 number guidelines or whatever that the tyrants are trying to put on everyone. So
it's the next logical step. All we've seen from government is an example in mismanagement of absolutely every single thing they lay their hand on. I think I've asked you this before, Monty, what the opposite of the Midas effect is, kind of thing. But it just seems the case. So it's up to everyone to really not give away the responsibility and be upset about it every single time, but get involved and make those communities that they need and want to foster and think could be better by something they think to make them better. Just get involved. Over.
Yeah, well, what actually is happening is we're going back to smaller communities because the centralisation doesn't work, because they, in bunny is just an easy way of doing it. They've crossed the line and they're going for the big push. and they can't go. They've passed their point of no return, and you can see it with just everything, and it's not working. They're so bad at it. It's so terrible. Actually, nothing's working out. They're slowly encroaching, but
I don't think they properly thought it through.
Well, no, they haven't, because
Thanks, Phil. We've got the data from Event 201. We can roll it from here. But I was just upping those numbers to try to be better friends with you guys. And then they're already out of the car park.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Well, that's the thing is, I can't do two things. I'm just tired. Oh, in the multi-dimensional aspect of reality, from just the
big squeaks going on. Ooh.
He's just tightening his legs, ladies and gentlemen. Just ratchet that up.
I'm 8 foot tall.
I am 7.9. Damn you. What we were talking about? What were we talking about? Give me
I don't know.
You were there as well.
I think it was the mind control machine I mentioned that takes the thoughts out of your brain while you're thinking.
That's just Collingwood.
Yeah, this is Planet Collingwood. It's like, I've got an idea, and then I get interrupted, and then the idea goes, well, if no one wants me,
I'm sorry, I left you in the car park.
Yeah. Something about a car park, like
I don't know. I know we were both there, but it's just that I see leaves blowing across. There's no one in the car park.
Now the time to leave him in the car park would be like 3 minutes to the hour, not like 20 minutes to the hour. But anyway,
you're so helping. So hopefully in chat, now I've got to wait 30 seconds. Hopefully in chat, someone can point out what we're talking about, because I was going to make a point. And I'm pointless now.
We're talking about eclipses,
well, but self-sufficiency and Telegram is the enemy of the New World Order, because it's really there's no censorship going on.
They didn't think it through, and so from a woo-woo perspective, and once you've dropped body, because there's a part of you that exists forever, and you'll move up from in basic language going from 3D to 4D. If you kill 3 billion people on the planet, and you break through that barrier of being in touch with the Great Spirit or God or whatever, flying spaghetti monster, it doesn't matter exactly. Yeah, your consciousness is not hindered by the 3.
That's another foot. He's now 8 foot tall.
I hope that was a foot, not something else. I just did a Biden. I do apologize.
Very crisp if it was.
Yeah. No, it's like,
and it's not even me doing it.
All right.
I've got these 2 pet dogs, and the dogs want to just be all.
Finish the sentence here. You've got an instant army in the astral, like in the 4D, like killing 3 million people. What we can do, we'll just kill half the population of humanity, but won't they move up into the 4th? Fire him. It's like you've got an instant army on the other side. They're not going. They haven't thought this through. And also, when half the population of the planet drops dead, someone may notice that. Once again, we're going to hide in our bunkers. Yeah, but we know where they are, and we'll wait 3 years. And when you come back out, we'll have a chat.
We just cement the doors, wouldn't you?
Or they say, well, they're all watching TV. We've got CGI. We can just keep running the CGI.
No,
they've been doing that with the.
I understand. I understand that's what they think, but no, it's like the whole thing about Project Bluebeam. Like that's not going to work, especially in Australia, because it wasn't the. Yeah, I know we do, but my point is the idea. The idea is that apparently they'll have a religious figure above a certain country, and everyone will fawn and go, "Oh, look, So,
it's a great idea. We'd all do whatever they say.
Not going to happen, my friend. Let it go. But my point is, for Australia, because we're so eclectic in, everyone is here. There's a representative of each country in this country.
How would you do it? It's a tricky business.
Yeah, like if you put up Jesus, all the Muslims will go, yeah, whatever. Or the Jews.
I saw a sign the other day, and this is out to all budding graffiti artists. If you see any kind of sign that says Jesus saves, you can just get a big money and put it next to it, and have some kind of give some people a laugh next time they go past that.
Could be
right.
Anyway, they do save a lot of money. They do a lot
okay, the really long way of getting to a bloody punchline on my own show.
Sorry, as you were.
Unless we have Shane Warne in the sky above Australia, it's not going to work. Now that's a local
I don't
reference,
even think that would work.
That's why it's a joke, you idiot. but my point still stands. It's like, for the United States, mostly would have Jesus saying, "Hey, hello." I don't know why he has an English accent, or maybe I do. But it's like, or even it's a fake alien invasion. I think the other aliens would go, "Excuse me, can you introduce us? Who the hell are these people?" So you think like Buddha would appear over Japan and something else would appear over India? Yeah. Now, this is not me creating it. I'm trying to figure out what those idiots think would work. And apart from a fake alien invasion where it's like, well, most likely, actually in was it the Battle of Los Angeles? There was a recent sci-fi movie where it turns out. Maybe it was a crap one from Netflix, but it's like, oh, these aliens are attacking us, and then you find out they're actually humans in costume who are trying, and it's like, it's us.
I've got it. How they do the fake blue beam alien invasion? How they do it? You ready? One word. Ready? Alf.
Miniature.
Alf.
Oh yeah. I shared that meme of the Sigourney Weaver from Alien 3, where the alien is like an inch away from her face, but then it realizes, oh, hang on, she's impregnated by a queen, and so she defends it. So, but someone put Alf's face instead of actually
was it equally as scary?
Yeah, it is actually. So. Because there's a bit of spittle or drool on Alf's mouth. Like,
he was always in the middle of a wisecrack or something like that.
Yeah.
But would would you say with a new feature film or something? Well, how would Alf make his
CGI? He can do anything these days. Failing that, we'd get one of the vertically challenged actors.
Well, you could have the whole Fraggle Rock cast appear.
Oh, well, yeah, that's tricky. when you get it, you remember those tiny little kind of feather-like building dudes? You only saw the little building dudes that were always kind of building something out of kind of perspex or something.
Well,
that's what's going to be hard.
Mel Gibson's movie history, he went from like Braveheart to Gallipoli to
Patriot. Strength, I'd like to say.
So, yeah. So he never went to Vietnam. But he did go to LA, and that was the what was those ones where we had the comedian sidekick Glover.
Lethal Weapons.
Yeah, Lethal Weapons. Yeah, and that was apparently that series was the closest to the truth of what's how all the human trafficking, all that goes on through the docks in LA and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, to this day.
And then
now,
and it was.
You've been trafficked right now.
Well, except ships are all parked up and stretched out in a big line.
I've seen there's some memes of like Black Friday, which is the Friday after Thanksgiving. They have the sales, and it's all these people in boats heading towards the they're not tankers. What are they? The ships, anyway. The container ships.
Probably converted tankers.
Well, that's turning them into like Walmarts.
So
yeah, floating malls.
Back to solar eclipses. We've got a solar eclipse on the 4th of December, visible from South Australia. Might even clip past Melbourne if you're lucky.
Well, that's interesting. So to recap very quickly for the audience, or I know there's more than one people. I'm just trying to be a bit cheeky there, ladies and gentlemen.
I had a little love. That was good.
Yeah. So yeah, for the audience, Pony.
He might be asleep. You wake him up.
So you've got a really long lunar eclipse, and it sounds like there was a solar eclipse a day before, and probably a solar eclipse. So I'm wondering that's connected because that the cosmic ballet continues. Does anyone want to swap seats with me? Simpson reference. So that is fascinating.
I was thinking Rodney Rood reference. Halftime, swap sides.
Mm-hmm. I got that joke. She shat the bed. Anyway, Rodney Rood did really well. He found his audience and just went for it.
It was great. Australia.
Unfortunately, that's the only joke. Oh, no, there's another joke. My brother keeps finding cars at the airport. So, I found it. Where?
In front of the truckie, but and everyone went to watch Al Yankovic instead.
Oh, yeah, well, Al's been doing it for 40 years, so hopefully he's got another album coming out. He only releases an album when he wants to, because he's at that level where it's like Roger Daltrey of The Who said, there's no point releasing new Who music. And it's like, well, yeah, because you've been doing it for 400 years, and if it's crap, we'll tell you. However, but
he was the one who used to break his drum kit up all the time, wasn't he?
No, that was Keith Moon. He was a bit of a nutter, and I've actually watched the movie Tommy. I'm not going to watch that movie again.
Not good, or do you only need to watch it once?
What is it?
Is it not my cup of tea?
The biography, I think.
Well, Tommy is basically the idea of a young boy sees his mum having sex with a man, his mum's having an affair, and in the movie it's Laurence Olivier. Like, wow, that's acting. And he was told at the age of 8, you never saw it, you never heard it, and his psychosomatic aspect kicks in, and he's deaf, blind, and mute type thing, and somehow he can play pinball. It's like, well, how the living crap does he do that? And yeah, it's a famous
pinball.
Pinball wizard. Yeah, and it's like, well,
their song.
Yeah, because he's blind, deaf, and mute, and it's like, well, what does he feel? It's like, I mean, that's some Jedi reflexes right there. Anyway,
he feels it. He feels the vibration through his groinal region pushed up against the pinball.
Yeah, that whole thing about Tavistock, I don't care. Like, they wrote all the Beatles music. Well, they were good at it. They suck now. Because I could still
anything for a PR stunt, or just twist your head. It's sort of like mind bending sort of.
Oh yeah. Mind you, in the movie Tommy, I've gone blank with her name. That's not right. Tina Turner has a really good section in it, so she's quite good. Yeah, so it's worth seeing once, so you can go, I don't need to see that again, or I'm going to buy that on Blu-ray. So options.
Does Tina Turner work? Go on. Netflix?
Yeah, there you go.
No, is it
on Netflix?
Is it on Netflix?
Probably not.
Sorry about that. That timing is just terrible.
Yes. Yes, it is. Welcome to Comedy Through Skype.
What I was going to say is, did Turner Tina work in one of her classic hits into the movie somehow, like she did in Mad Max?
No. And also the Mad Max one, that was written for Mad Max.
Really? Mm-hmm. What if she got any of the profits?
Probably not. Well, she wrote it. Yeah, she performed it, and she
she did actually write it. It wasn't written for her for the movie.
I don't know.
She wrote it for the movie.
There was a question, but she did actually get paid to act in it, and she's quite good at it, actually. Because I watched all the Mad Max films. It's like, there's a thrill. Mind you, a bit of a jump in the story. Like the first one, the world's on the brink of chaos, and then the second one, well, they went over the edge.
So that happened.
Yeah. So there was a nuclear war. Good-o.
So with the fourth one, do you think they're revisiting it to try and like what we should have, could have possibly had in there, or now that we've got bigger budget?
You mean Fury Road, or is there another one?
There's Fury Road. Yeah. So there's like a remake of the original, but with bigger budget or something like that. Because the original,
I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a different story, and the element of woke was apparently in it from people, blah blah blah, but it worked. I don't know where it is in Max's timeline, and I think the only reason is because the first film, I think 78, 79, and it was like a low budget independent film, and it's still popular. Cars. Yeah, it's still popular today. Like those three movies are still selling. Like you can buy them. It's not lost. It's not like
it's got that romper stomper feel to it, doesn't it? Real.
The Interceptor. It's raw. It's raw. Like
piece from here and a piece from there. And so it's just the popularity of it. And so the guy who made it.
I think that sums up the mentality of what's going on in Victoria. Possibly is they've had this underworld bubbling away for a long time, and they actually had that other thing, didn't they? Have a series called the Underbelly. That's right.
Yeah, the Underbelly. It still can't buy season 1 in Victoria because of a court injunction.
Ongoing court case.
Yeah,
really?
Which reminds me,
Cortek.
I have to talk to you about going to JB Hi-Fi and buying something for me. Because all the Victorians just downloaded it, and it is a good, they got up to season 5. Timmy walks across a road and gets caught for jaywalking tonight on Channel 9. It's like, really? Because they're running out of criminal stories. But the first one is actually very fascinating, and it was such a disservice to the Victorians because it's like, hang on, that's us.
It was at the time. It was an ongoing case too, and it was super. It was nothing. Yeah. It was
gangland wars,
real.
and it's pretty factual. I mean, it's a story, so it's not 100% correct, but it was made really well, and it started that. That's why there is 5 seasons of Underbelly, because it's there is that fascination. I could actually. I could also you can see it's a forerunner from I think The Wire is around that time, but then you have Snowfall and Narcos, and so there's this fascination of organized crime and drugs that people are fascinated of, like, well, how did they do that? And that was the Australian one, because I think that was mid 90s. No, yes, mid to late 90s, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
They had
Totally.
that story of the
that's
policeman who got
correct.
shot.
Yeah.
What was the name of the policeman who got shot? And he was he got too close to the whole story, and then
I don't know. Well, that's the end.
Oh.
That's the end.
Yes. Okay, yep, thanks.
Yep, that's the end of Planet Collingwood. Stick around, because I think Cortek and Pones will be taking the ball and going for a run. If you enjoyed the show, please donate to Revolution Radio, or if you're on my YouTube channel, just sling me a couple of shekels so I can buy food. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours. You have been listening to Planet Collingwood, and I love you from afar. I'm off to deal with some fallout. See you soon, everyone.